I hope to get another excellence award.
My goals for the competition are just to go and give it our best shot.
I feel very confident that everyone's going to do their job perfectly how it should be done.
ProStart is put on by the National Restaurant Association. It is kind of our curriculum that we have to teach, and part of that is competition. So each year, all 48 states roughly do this competition. They gather at one spot in the state, they compete for a weekend, and then the top finalists in both the culinary and the management competition go on to the national level. So what it is it's a 1 hour, so 60 minutes. They are in a 10 by 10 square. They have a couple different sessions essentially. They have a station preset, knife skills where they will butcher, 2 people will butcher a chicken into 8 pieces. The other 2 will perform 4 knife cuts. So then they go from knife cuts into, they clean up after knife cuts, then they get into mise en place, which mise en place means everything in place. So they will get all of their equipment on the table, organized, ready to roll. They cannot mix anything, they cannot turn anything, they cannot heat anything, they cannot marinate anything, but everything can be ready to roll. So they have 20 minutes to do that, and then when they say your time starts now, it's all gears going as fast as they can. So we are doing a really neat kind of concept this year. We're really pushing the envelope. All of our dishes were inspired by song lyrics. So our appetizer is called Under the Sea from Little Mermaid, which features a butter poached lobster tail. It has kale seaweed, it has carrot snails, it has a savory coarse sand.
The appetizer for the meal, that alone shows a lot of skill, which I think will impress the judges. We are also making a savory granola to go with it that is then put into a food processor and turned into what we like to call our savory coarse sand, because it represents sand. And we have a kale and carrot slaw that we make that is sauteed with fresh ginger and shallot to go underneath it, and then we make a lobster beurre blanc, which is it's a simple butter sauce, but we add in some extra things like lobster base and tomato paste to give it that red color so it looks like it's actually made out of lobster. Really, with the appetizer, there's a lot of seafood that people do for that because it's just easier.
And then our entree is actually Out of the Woods, inspired by Taylor Swift. So it's very woodsy. It features duck breast that is flavored with pine shoots that we cut right off of a pine tree. It has a maple and mold farro. The maple comes from maple sherry vinegar, and then we do a mascarpone, which is a type of cheese. It has Romanesco moss and florets, which Romanesco is kind of like a hybrid between broccoli and cauliflower that we spread on the plate. And then we do royal trumpet mushrooms, and then we hit it with a little duck reduction, and then it has some fall foliage, which is in the form of a sweet potato leaf and then a beet blush leaf. So it actually looks like leaves have fallen down on the plate. And then we go into our dessert that was inspired by Fields of Gold by Sting. And that features wheat and berries from Fields.
We have several layers in the dessert. One of them is a pizzelle, which is an Italian cookie. The next layer would be a white chocolate and goat cheese mousse with strawberry chunks in it. And then we have a layer of strawberry puree with another cookie, more mousse. And then on top, we have taken the scraps after we cut the pizzelle and turn it into a crumble for the top. And then on the very top, I create a rose made out of white chocolate.
I think mainly what we have learned like as a team and instructors included is just the little things. Like we only placed 12th at nationals because our heavy cream temped out by 2 points, or it was like 0.2. So it was barely off. So we were deducted 5 points immediately before we even entered our square. So I think it's just little things like that that we've learned. And like when the judges come around, they'll tell you little things that they've learned throughout the industry. Like one of them that has always stuck with me since that day has been when I'm clearing off my cutting board, instead of using my blade, flip my knife over and use the back of it so I don't chip or dent or dull my blade. So it's just little things like that that you hear and then you think about as you're going to bed that night and you're like, wow, I'm gonna use that in the future. And then you're sitting there and you're about to scrape your cutting board with your blade or something and you're like, and flip.
I'm feeling very confident going into this year just because it's essentially the same team that went last year that won at the state level. So we have a year's worth of experience going back into it, and I think that will really help. I think the way we're going to win is just by impressing the judges with what we're doing and how we're doing it, and really just working as a team to get everything done and make sure it's done right.
I feel very confident that everyone's going to do their job perfectly how it should be done, and that we're going to, in turn, blow the judges' socks off with our plates that are not too complicated, but complicated enough to where it's going to impress them.
I really do plan on getting first place this year. I'm gonna go in strong, do my own thing, and ultimately it's up to the judges, but I'm gonna do everything in my power to put out the best thing that I can so they enjoy it.
It takes everything you got. You have to be perfect on everything. Your knife cuts cannot be a centimeter off. They have to be straight on. So it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of practicing, but in the end, it's obviously worth it. It's gotten Isaac, Carson, and I very far in this industry already, and we're still in high school, so it's a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately last year we had a team full of juniors and one senior. 3 out of those 4 juniors came back, and they are on the team this year. So I've gotten to see them really grow as culinarians for 2 years now. They're like my children. We spend countless hours together. You know, we started back in November practicing 3 days a week, and we've gone 3 days a week since November 1st up until this point. So they have to, they suffer a lot. They have a lot of things that they have to give up to do this. It's equivalent of playing a varsity sport. It's equivalent of being in the play. You know, so when you look at it from that standpoint, it's everything is done outside of the classroom. So when we have kids coming from 4 different districts that are on this team, so trying to get the scheduling, trying to get it all to work out, it is a lot of logistical work, but they you know, I don't want to say suffer because what they get is great, but they give up a lot. They really have to, you know, make some choices that they don't necessarily want to make, but they have to for the benefit of the team. So it's been a lot of fun getting to know them, not just on a student level, but more on a personal level.
Chef Graf has taught us so much. He has always been there to help us whenever we needed it. He's always critiqued us and helped us. He's helped me get a job where I have a job now. I'm working at Element 112, and it's a great job. It's helped me progress further. It's helping me get into tons of elite colleges. But I think just this program is perfect. If it wasn't for this program, I honestly probably would have dropped out of school, just because now I have something to look forward to at the end of the day, each day. But I love this program, and everything that they teach us is something that I can go to someone who's graduated from culinary school and say, and they're like, you know that? So they're not teaching you just some random thing. They're teaching you the real deal.